Hello, agents. Hello, everyone. So we got some popular news here for 2023. Things I think are going to be really popular in the annuity marketplace, fixed annuity marketplace, including some very huge news. So stay tuned for that. So let's just jump right into this on the 5 features I think are going to be super popular going into 2023. All right. Number 1, accumulation guarantees. Number 2, the guaranteed income options. Number 3, carrier ratings, history, and longevity. I think that's going to be very important. An increase in the contractual minimum guarantees. This is huge, big news there. Stay tuned for that. And exclusion ratios and tax deferral, kind of traditional, but still very important, especially going in, and I'll explain why. So let's jump into the first one, accumulation guarantees. Rates are near, at, or above 5%, which is just great, right? The 3 and the 4 year, 4.90 to 5%. Right now, you can find a lot of companies with that, pretty low minimums down to like $10,000. The 5 and 6 years run in between 5 and up to 5.4 with decent rated carriers, very good rated carriers actually. 7-year annuities run between 5.10 and 5.50, so a little longer, a little better. However, when you get to the 8 and 10-year marketplace, they're not as attractive as the short term. So the 8 to 10, you might be able to find about a 5. So if you want to lock in like a longer income withdrawal or something like that, look at the 8 to 10 year. But if you're looking for something like kind of want to move around and always have opportunity for a better rate, you know, the 3 to 7 years seems to be the hot pocket right there to jump into the MIGA area. So let's talk about guaranteed income options, right? Free withdrawals and annuitization. So the interest only withdrawal option is very popular with the 5% interest rate because, you know, you keep the accumulation value at the full value. So you put 100,000 in, you want to take 5,000 a year, let's say, for example, your 100,000 is always there. That's the death benefit remains steady, and the accumulation value on your statement always shows the 100,000. So that's a very comfortable way to look at the withdrawals there. There's also the free withdrawal provision. It's built in now, even at these higher rates and most carriers at most ratings. You don't have to buy that feature anymore where you were a year or two ago. And you can get those rates at between 5% free withdrawal. Most common is the 10% free withdrawal, but there are up to 15% free withdrawals. So unqualified money or something, if interest rates take off, you know, you have access to 15% of that money should you need it for some reason. Access is at 15 up to 15% on those deferred annuities. Immediate annuities, always popular for income. The annuity product built to guaranteed income. Those are great for single life. We've seen a lot more joint life, so 2 lives, father, son, husband, wife, whatever it is, we can do 2 lives on that. And the period certain for laddering. So if you want to have income, a certain amount of income up to age 65 or 75, whenever your other pension or Social Security kicks in, you can kind of ladder that period of time from 60 months all the way to 30 years on the period certain annuities. And of course, the split annuity gives you the advantage of growing the deferred back. And really the advantage there is to the non-qualified funds because you have the exclusion ratio. So I think once the knowledge of this exclusion ratio and how it works, we've seen a lot more activity into the split annuity to kind of, again, ladder or bridge some income gap there. Great for non-qualified money. If you're looking for the exclusion ratio show, yeah, be sure to shop that income. Carrier ratings, history, and longevity. So financial strength, more important than ever as we go into maybe a more volatile time in the future here. So what we're looking at on the carrier strength, what I feel is important to be looked at beyond the ratings. So you have the ratings, but that's just a starting point. You should be aware of how long the company's had that rating, first of all. So A minus rated company only had it for a month. You know, you might want to look more into that company. We want to check multiple rating agencies, including AM Best, Weiss, S&P, as well as their total overall Comdex number and where they land in the total of all insurance companies out there. The total admitted assets of the company. Is it under $1 billion company, a few hundred million, or is it a tens of million, $100 billion company? So the strength matters on how they can weather the financial storm should they get into one. So and here's a look at how you can kind of review the size of the company. So I took 2, just LSW Life of the Southwest is a $27 billion company, right? They're A+ rated. But then you have Lincoln National, who's A rated, but a $317 billion company, right? And these numbers are all in thousands. So those are 2 ways to look at it, you know, so they're very competitive, both in B, 89 Comdex to an 82, 8% surplus, 8.6. So very close. So what else might you look at if you're looking at 2 companies that are so close? So that's when we go into the history. Has the client had any recent upgrades or downgrades? So let's look at those 2 companies again. And as you see here, LSW, Life of the Southwest, had a recent upgrade from AM Best to A plus from A in January or during the 2021 year. And as you see, Lincoln was recently downgraded in 2022 from A plus to A. I don't know what all that means, right? So you want to look at all that, maybe look deeper. So here's the Comdex. Comdex moves more often than the rating agencies as they jump between their standing in all insurance companies. So as you can see, Lincoln here, up and down, but a huge down here from a 90 to 82. So, you might want to look more into why that happened. Whereas you see LSW went from an 80 all the way up here to an 88, 89, what are they, a 90 almost? So bouncing back and forth. So you see the lines and the direction the companies are going at that point. So that's a good way to look at things, just kind of more in depth. Both those companies are fine and financially secure and can play all claims, of course. I just wanted to show you because those two had the most diversity between the, changes in most recent time. So also the devotion of the annuity product line. Does the carrier have a vested interest in annuities? Like, remember Voya? They jumped out of the annuity business. They went all in on the 151A and in the broker dealer channel. And when that didn't work out, now where are they? They don't do any annuities at all. Remember, they have the park bench and all this good stuff. So you want to look for a company that's really committed, has a broad product line and all that good stuff. So, and is their product line primarily FIA, MIGA, or SPIA? Do they do indexes or SPIAs more? And then you want to shop those companies that might be more competitive in the index or the MIGA or the SPIA. So if they're really a competitive SPIA company and they focus on SPIAs and they're way up to date on all their SPIAs and they'll do, inherited stuff, and they're all up to date on how to do all that stuff, you might want to, focus that particular client into that particular company for that particular product line they're looking for, income accumulation, or just a little bit of both. So that would be the carrier histories and ratings. So yeah, shop that financial strength as well when you're out there shopping your products. So, okay, so this is the huge news, an increase in contractual minimum guarantees. And these are the strongest guarantees inside the annuity contract. And you notice that as the rates were in the past went down, a lot of companies with the 3% minimums out of surrender, those clients just held those products and they were better than most things they could buy in the marketplace, especially with the liquidity and the flexibility to move if they wanted to. So this is huge. And we've seen a popular MIGA, walkaway MIGA, at 2.75 minimum. So the current rate's 490. So you can lock up 490 for 3 years. That's based on today's, December 29th, 2022 rates. And after the third year, it's going to be completely liquid. And now the minimum on that, if once it's liquid, can be 2.75%. This year, 2022, that's 2023 rate. 2022 rate is 1. So they're renewing those out of surrender at 1%. So those are moving. Next time, anyone who buys it next year is going to get a minimum of 2.75. So in 36 months, when that thing matures, if they don't want to move, they got 2.75 minimum guarantee. They can't go below. That's really, really extremely strong. And you might want to look into that because you'll have flexibility at the end and a high minimum guarantee of 2.75. Those might be lifetime keeper products. We don't know. But going forward, those could be some of the products these people keep for, decades, as we saw with the 3% minimums in the past. So 2.75, not bad. Other FIAs and deferred I've seen as high as 2.8. Now, those are on walkaway annuities or fixed index annuities, but I've seen as high as 2.8. So it'll be interesting to see as the year goes on if anyone tops up into the 3% range on their minimum guarantee. But 2.75 looks like the average right now. You can get as high as a 2.8% minimum guarantee on a contract and a fixed annuity contract. So, in these you can lock up for 5 years at 5%. After the 5th year, 2.75, 2.80, whatever their minimum is the guaranteed, and you're liquid, hopefully, on the walkaways after that. So I can't stress how important the minimum guarantee is. And these are huge, huge increases from the 1% range. Some are even below 1. Some are like 0.25%. So we'll see how those move. But 2.75. So gives you a lot of strength at the end. So be sure to check the minimum guarantees on all products with exit windows especially, but on all products. So if you're searching a product and it's got a low 2.2 minimum and the rate's comparative to something with a 2.75 minimum, you might want to focus towards that 2.75 minimum. Shop that guarantee. Hugest, strongest guarantee in annuity contract. let's talk about tax exclusion ratios and tax deferral, right? With higher rates are going to come higher taxes, right? More interest equals more taxable income. That's what's going on in annuity. So when rates were below or at 1%, taxable gains at the end of the year may not even be felt, right? You had 100 grand, you made 1,000, and it goes on to your taxes. That same product right now at a bank, even you might get 3,000 or 4,000 in taxes. So you want to look at that. So in the annuities, you can get some tax deferral on those things. So now that rates have increased 5-fold, and so will that taxable interest to the client at the end of the year if they're in a non-tax deferred investment, right? So using a deferred annuity, you can defer those taxes out until you decide to draw that money out. So I think deferred annuities are going to become more popular than bank products as interest rates go up because of that 1099 at the end of the year. You're not going to get with the annuity and you're going to get with those bank products. So even if your CD is paying 4.25, that's taxable 4.25, and you're going to have a taxable event at the end of the year. You will receive that 1099, whereas in deferred annuity, you defer those taxes till you need that money and take that money out. Using an immediate or combo split annuity to defer taxes on one side and get some tax exclusion on the income coming out. So same thing, you want money out, you want to take some income, but you won't want to pay the huge taxes. We've seen the split annuities skyrocket in popularity in 2022. And here's what one we did in November, right? This was a $500,000 product. The $2,100 of income came out at 91 tax exclusion. The 380 grew back to 500, and that $119,000 gain is 100% taxable. But then again, they could split it again, partial it out, and defer those taxes all the way out. So I think the split annuity is going to be really popular, and education on cost basis and how they work with exclusion ratios. So give me a call if you have any questions on that. Been doing those for forever. It was one of the first things I got into was immediate annuities and all this great advantages of tax exclusion ratios with those. So yeah, that was a true product we wrote this year. So just to recap, the top 5 features I feel will be popular in 2023 are accumulation guarantees, guaranteed income from your annuity, the different options you have there, carrier ratings, history, and longevity, making sure you have strong, long life in that annuity product, and the carrier is going to be around for the life of that client and the annuity you purchase with that client. The increased minimum guarantees, huge. That's probably the number one takeaway. That's the hugest news out of this. Over from 1% minimums on those deferreds to 2.75, very huge. And exclusion ratio and tax deferral, as interest rates go up, you have the extra tax on your interest that is paid out. So tax deferral and tax exclusions are something you really want to be talking about and know about. So be sure to shop that SPIA and all those features we just talked about. Yeah, so here's some quick disclosures there. You can pause the screen, and yeah, that's the end of my presentation. Went a bit long, but I hope you enjoyed that video. If you have any questions, right here, 800-373-9697. Follow me on all the social media for the most up-to-date. See my LinkedIn channel. We try to do daily updates there. If you have any questions, please call me. Anything you need. Hope you all have a very happy new year, very safe, happy new year, and we'll see you on in 2023. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk at you soon. Bye-bye.